going to chase you with a hatchet, Keiichi-kun. After going home, I changed my clothes and dug my bike out of the garage. Just thinking that I would be able to meet Shion again gave me a mysterious feeling. Shion, a name for a different kind of Mion. She was a mysterious and ridiculous person, believing she had fooled everyone like that. I noticed that I was pedaling along quite happily. Could it be that I was looking forward to meeting Shion? I felt a sense of giddy anticipation, like I was headed towards a new friend's house for the first time. What Rina said about Mion actually being really feminine sprang to mind once again. The guilt from spying on another side of Mion, the self-consciousness from being the only one that knew about that side. Those feelings mixed together. That was Shion for you, Mion's little twin sister. Until she felt like coming out and admitting she was Mion, it was fine to just call her Shion, right? Mion might be trying to have some fun by acting out a different persona. As I reached the top of the steep hill, the horizon expanded before me. I was almost at the station. The last time I wasn't embarrassed since I was here with my dad, but this time I was alone. I was strangely self-conscious about it. Meet Shion, get my key back. That was all this task was supposed to be. Hey, what about your tea? What about your spot of tea that you wanted to have? If I dawdled around like this, maybe Shion would find me before she headed in for work. Hey, what are you doing, Keiichi Maibara? You're just here to get your key back, you know. It's not like you're some love-struck schoolboy here to hand over a love letter. The thoughts inside my head were slowly turning into a jumbled mess. I came to the realization I was downright giddy. That's why, for just a bit, just a tiny little bit, I got a little carried away and did something really stupid. I kicked over a parked motorcycle that was blocking the sidewalk. It was in the way, sure, but there was absolutely no need for me to kick it. What the hell are you doing, Keiichi? I definitely think I got too carried away. Funk clack. Crash. As the three bikes toppled one after another like dominoes, the loud noise they caused snapped me back to my senses. Keiichi, this is, like, wild. I guess this is your opposite self, isn't it? Somebody kicks motorbikes over. That's so out of fucking what the fuck? Oh, shit. The hell do you think you're doing? The owners of those three bikes were right there. They looked exactly like what you'd call thugs up to no good. Oh my god. Keiichi, you've really fucking done it, my guy. Like, I'm dreading this. They lifted their heads up in an imposing manner and yelled angrily in a way I had never heard before. The three of them beelined towards me, the worn-down heels of their thin-soled shoes slapping noisily against the pavement. I could only stare listlessly, as if I were watching some far-off event that didn't concern me at all. They're wandering over, they're clicking their fingers, like in time with the music. By the time I realised it, I had been grabbed by the collar and lifted onto my tiptoes. Don't be playing dumb. You knocked him over, didn't you? Huh? The three thugs were completely ignoring the rules of grammar, but the way they spoke was enough to make me tremble. Oh my god, Keiichi, you kick over some thugs' bikes, they come and grab you by the collar, and you're correcting their grammar internally? You fucking joke. Just like that. My composure drained away. My legs buckled and my throat grew dry enough to crack. I'm sorry, I accidentally... Accident my ass? You kicked it, didn't you, dumbass? I'm not attempting a delinquent voice, I ain't got it in me right now. I was completely at fault, so there was nothing I could say in my defense. As a result, I was pulled even higher. The hell, man? The paint's all scuffed. Yo, brat. Who put you up to this, eh? This is your goddamn fault. The three of them continued to yell at me. I had no idea what each of them was saying. Getting further enraged that I was only listening while dumbstruck. They grabbed an empty plastic crate from a nearby store and began to smash it repeatedly against a telephone pole. Cracks formed in the crate, plastic shards flying everywhere. They then slammed it full force into the shuttered storefront. Oh, no, okay, smash. Hey, this is scary, actually. In a kind of a, oh, this would just be a genuinely fucking terrifying experience kind of situation. The shutter let out a frighteningly loud noise. Hey, I just hope that that's one of the 10 million shops owned by Mion's family and can come out and help deal with this. Still not satisfied, they flipped over a case of empty cans, scattering its content all over the place. This was not normal. It was something you saw often on television or in manga, but I never thought seeing it in person would be this terrifying. I became painfully aware that the safety of civilized society was only held up by such a frail concept as morals. My knees clattered together noisily. Static began to pepper my vision. This is what you would call absolute terror. There was nothing I could do to stop this frightening spectacle of violence. I could only pray for help. The fear I felt was just too much. Would somebody help me? My gaze floundered around the surrounding area. I was surrounded by these three hoodlums. No way would there be a passerby brave enough to intervene. Maybe this was what you call reaping what you sow. If I were a passerby, there would be no doubt that I'd ignore what was going on. Though this was somewhat of a cosmic retribution. Oh dear. I do sometimes have a thought if I'm walking somewhere, maybe late at night, I'll always stick to like the main roads, but there's also that part of my head that's like, say I was cornered by a couple of ne'er-do-wells. Would anyone driving by in the car actually stop to help, or would they just be like, no, I need to get home from work. I've had a long day. Can't be dealing with that right now. At that point, I'm kind of hoping, not for a hero, but just for witnesses. As a dissuasion tactic, you know? Fucking say something! Oh, I see, we're going for like... I'm going for like British then. I'll fucking stab you! Angry yelling loud enough to rattle my eardrums spewed forth, right in front of my face. I mean, at this point, like, look. This is a teenager. They've kicked over your bikes. I think you've given them a scare. Steal his money and just let him go at this point. I don't think we need to threaten to stab the guy. My waning consciousness was forcefully dragged back to the forefront. The thug had cocked back his free hand and twisted his body, when suddenly a metallic taste filtered through the back of my throat. A chill ran down my spine like a jolt of electricity. Seeing what was going to happen next, I squeezed my eyes shut as tightly as possible and grit my teeth. You're making quite the racket, you stupid pieces of trash. Get out of my sight. That voice was a short distance away. Still holding me by the collar, the three thugs spun around to look behind them. The fuck you say? Standing there was Shion. shit, okay. This is a development. I mean, Mion. She stood there, displaying an imposing stature that I'd never seen before. She didn't have the same look on her face as she did when we were playing around during club. Those were the eyes that would instill fear in anyone who looked upon them. The eyes of a raptor. They were the epitome of terror. At the same time, they were the most reassuring things in the world. I'll only say this one more time. Let go of Kei-chan and get lost. Mion, without an ounce of fear, laid down her ultimatum. Of course, there was no way those three wouldn't go absolutely berserk. The situation instantly turned explosively dangerous. You fucking bitch! I'll fucking bash your head in! Stop it, Mion. These guys are like rabid dogs. No amount of bluffing will work. Mion, it's dangerous. So... I knew what I was saying was pathetic. But I couldn't let Mion get involved in this. No matter how you looked at it. Mion was only bluffing. I think you're about to find that that might not be true. I just have a feeling. Just a hunch. But did Mion even know the meaning of the word bluff? However, the reason behind everything soon became apparent. They were slowly increasing in number, little by little. At first it was only businessmen on their way home stopping to take a look. Then it was housewives in the middle of shopping taking a gander. Next, what seemed like the owner of some store showed up, and it was pretty clear he wasn't just looking. Around Mion, there was already about 7 people gathered. It felt different than people coming out to support a friend. If I had to say why, it was because the group that gathered was diverse in age and gender. Oh my god, it's Mion's club. The 3 thugs seemed to slowly realise that there was something strange about the situation. Who the hell are these guys? Whoops. Who the hell are these guys? Behind them, at some point, 4 more people of differing clothes and ages had gathered. A girl who looked to be in middle school, a man wearing a bakery apron, an old lady in a house-cleaning smock. More and more people of various ages, their gazes comparable to Mion's were of hostility, of intimidation. Before I realised it, over 10 people had formed a ring around us. At that moment, 5 elementary schoolers ran in and joined the circle. There were some familiar faces, some of our classmates. Then these people were residents of Hinamizawa. More and more people from Hinamizawa gathered round. In obvious contrast, the residents of Okinamiya were passing by as quickly as possible. Oh shit. It's the ride or die mentality of Hinamizawa that we've talked about before. They really do, like, without a second notice, without like a moment of hesitation, they'll step in to defend their own and do what needs to be done. Kind of know this from the history that we were told in chapter 1, and now we're seeing it in action. The fuck are you guys? Go the fuck away. The group surrounding us had suddenly swelled to around 20 people, completely encircled. The faces of these thugs began to show the first signs of panic. Nobody spoke a word, Mion included. That made everything completely unnatural and, depending on which side you were on, completely terrifying. Hey, you prayed to a god. There you go. Only the thugs' voices echoed out like they were screaming. Somebody took a step forward, closing the gap between them. As they did, everybody else took a step forward, shrinking the circle. The hoodlums went pale as they were pushed together, back to back, while still yelling angrily. They were trying to string together vulgarities, but for some reason it sounded like they were crying out for help. Alright, what's going on here? What's going on? It was sudden. A solidly built officer cut his way through the crowd. At some point, 2 police cars had arrived. Some passerby had undoubtedly called for them. Several burly officers appeared from inside the second vehicle. "Oh, officer, good timing. There you go, the extortionists caught red-handed. Please arrest them." The fuck? This brat's the one that's wrong here. Mion, returning to her usual self, was nonchalantly pointing out the hoodlums to the police. Of course, the thugs were furious. Yeah, still Shion. But, you know, I have to go, yeah. But now that it had come to this, there was nothing that they could do. It was their loss. Okay, come over here for a second. Come on already. The officers handcuffed the thugs and dragged them towards the patrol cars. The fuck? Let me go! We're the victims here! You listening, damn it? No matter how much of a ruckus they caused, the officers paid no heed. In the blink of an eye, they were crammed inside the 2 vehicles. They could still be heard yelling while inside the police cars, but what they were saying was no longer intelligible. Oh fuck, not this fucking guy. Oh shit. Oh fuck. No way. I took a break for a spell because there was some cleaning being done. And also just because I need to mentally prepare myself. I wasn't ready for fucking Oishi yet. I was thinking maybe if some shit happens at the festival we'd see him then, but no, it sounds we're getting fucking pre-Watanagashi fucking Oishi. So that's great. It's great. Are you alright? Are you injured? He was probably a detective. The man leading the police peered at my face. No, not really. Well, that's a bit of a silver lining then. Oh well then, have a good year. The portly man, after taking a quick look around, addressed the crowd. Thank you, citizens, for your timely report. Thanks to your efforts, we were able to keep the peace today. It's a wonderful thing. Thank you for your hard work, Detective Oishi. As a citizen, I thank you for your daily efforts. It's an honor for a detective from the 1st Division to come out all this way. The way Shion talks doesn't have a very pleasant tone. Oh, it was a coincidence. I happened to hear the call over the radio on my way back from the prefectural office. I just made a little detour. Please keep up the good work. I pray for success in your future endeavours. He's doing a different laugh, weirdly. Oh, shucks. It's a good thing there were no injuries, though. Oishi-san, we're done here. Let's go. Well then, have a good year. I'm sorry, could you make way? The detective named Oishi, after jovially making pleasantries, lumbered over to the waiting police car. It quickly set off, disappearing down the city street. It was over so quickly. So quickly I was dumbstruck. I didn't even get to ask the officer what was going on. It was like they came here quickly to disperse the mob before any trouble could start. Was there about to be some fucking vigilante justice? After making sure the police cars had left, Mion snapped her fingers sharply. Alright, that's a wrap. And don't come back. That was the signal. The tension melted away in an instant as everybody began smiling. middle-aged man helped me up. Are you okay, young Maibara? Shit, they know our name. Well, they might have heard her shouting. Next time, pick your fights a bit better. It's not like I wanted to fight. Are you hurt anywhere? If you hit your head, it'd be a good idea to get an x-ray taken. An older lady I didn't know the name of was concerned about my injury. You were lucky this happened right in front of the station when it was busy. Otherwise, we wouldn't have been able to gather as many people. Next time, be more careful. City kids these days are pretty unruly. Honestly. I was even warned by the old lady in the smock. As Shion finished applauding the dispersing group for all their efforts, she strode over to me. Well, well, you're pretty good, Kei-chan. But I also think you should be more careful about who you pick a fight with. Thanks, Mion. You saved my bacon there. Like I said, I'm Shion. She made a troubled expression as she turned her gaze downwards, blushing in embarrassment. I heard from my sister. That fur seal keychain was yours, Kei-chan. Oh, yeah, that's right. I was just heading to the restaurant. And you ended up feeling so excited you got mixed up in something weird. Now it was my turn for my face to go red. I didn't want to admit that she was spot on. Well, I was just unlucky. Well, you really saved me, Shion. You don't have to thank me. So, if you see someone else getting bullied, help them out, okay? We value that kind of thing very highly here. I was well versed in that sense of camaraderie. But the way I was rescued just now, something seemed a little off about that. Okay, cool. I'm glad it's not just me. While I was helped out, it was honestly to an almost disturbing degree. You're coming into the restaurant, right? You must be tired, so why don't you relax for a bit? My treat. Seems that she caught the glimmer of suspicion in my eyes. Without waiting for my answer, Shion began walking. Well, damn. That was intense, for sure. And there's still more chapter to go. Of course, we're only technically at the halfway point, although it might be one of those lopsided chapter breaks where there's only a little bit more to clear up now, but considering we're like in the cafe, we have a lot of talking to Shion to do, I imagine. I feel like we got a bit more to go yet. This whole thing makes me a bit uneasy. Everyone really did just like lock in, full mob mentality, ready to fucking act. It was, well, I mean, it was a relief because we didn't get the shit kicked out of us, but I don't know. I kind of find it hollow comfort that when something comes along to save me and I can't help but think, God, I'm sure glad they're on my side because I would be in danger if they weren't. You know? After cooling off a bit inside the restaurant, little by little, I realised I was still on edge. There were spots here and there on my body that hurt, probably because I had been so stiff with nervousness. Shion, who had changed into her uniform, brought over 2 glasses of iced coffee. Here you go, iced coffee on the house. Just bring this coupon with you to the register and it'll be for no charge. My patheticness really knew no bounds, but since she went through the trouble, I might as well take her up on the offer. Even though it had started out as such a lovely day, I had to get carried away and do that stupid thing. I had completely ruined it. But really, you really saved my hide there. I've really come to see you as reliable. Even I was scared, but Kei-chan was in trouble, so had to be brave and do my best. While a little embarrassed by what she'd just said, Shion made a show of folding her arms boldly. Shion, really, thank you. I was thanking Shion. I really wanted to thank Mion. Mion, really, thank you. Now, cheer up a little. If you feel indebted, then when you have the chance, you should help somebody in need. Like, for example, if I'm ever in trouble. Please come and save me. Yeah, of course. It's a promise. Well, we've made a promise. That's now legally blinding. And by legally, I mean blood binding. Now we will have to kill and die for Shion. That's great. Excellent stuff. You actually have to. Taking advantage of my words, you seemed happy about my promise. So if I'm ever in trouble, K-chan will come and save me. I hope trouble comes soon. You finally smiled, she said as she smiled herself, poking me in the cheek. A downtrodden K-chan is as good as A downtrodden K-chan is as good as an imposter. Come on, smile, smile. That tickles. Stop. Thanks to Shion's meddling, I finally cheered up a little. All the muscles in my body that had stiffened because of the incident finally began to relax a little. When you're in a better mood, don't you get a little hungry? I'm kinda hungry, so I want to eat some pancakes or something. Do you want some too, K-chan? I wanted to show a little restraint, but restraint really wasn't my thing. That's why I replied without any. They're good, right? I'm pretty picky when it comes to pancakes. Ah, don't worry. Our pancakes have a pretty good reputation. Shion ordered some pancakes from a nearby waitress. An employee ordering from another employee seems kind of weird. Hey, speaking of that, weren't you in the middle of a shift? You've just been slacking off while talking to me. I told my uncle that you saved me when I was surrounded by hoodlums, so he's rewarding you. So I have the manager's permission. That's exactly the opposite of what happened, is that alright? It's perfectly fine. I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. I don't know if that's okay or not. Why do I feel like I'm in one of those mobster's daughter fucking romance novels right now? By the time the pancakes arrived, we had entered into a relaxed conversation. As the two of us ate pancakes, we livened the mood with some chit-chat. About what was on TV, celebrities, that kind of thing. Hobbies, food. Really, nothing more than idle chit-chat. Talking together like this, I once again became conscious of Shion being a girl. Hey, now that's funny talk, Keiichi Maibara. Shion and Mion are the same person. If there was anything different between them, it was only whether or not Mion admitted she was Mion. But given that, how come our conversation was this different? Kei-chan, you don't think of my sister as a girl, do you? That's not true. If she were a guy, I'd punch the living daylights out of her. I think the reason you guys get along so well is because you have that kind of platonic relationship. That's a pretty rare and enviable thing to have, don't you think? I don't get what you're saying, but it really would be a waste to treat her like a girl. Damn, fucking hell, Keiichi. This is like entering a... It's entering a sort of atmosphere that I don't know how I feel about it. It's like... I know Mion likes to sort of joke about, you know, saying, you know, this old man or, you know, and all that, but I have to, like, wonder if it's worth a check-in on that sometimes, like, would she feel okay with us talking like this? Now and again I get the impression there's a part of her that does kind of want to be a bit cute a little bit more. Like, she looked dejected when she didn't get the doll, and she was genuinely sort of, like, stunned and impressed by the candies. It makes me start to worry that she's kind of trapped herself in this role and she doesn't really want to I don't know. I don't know. My point is, talking about her in this way without her here, you know, seemingly, makes me feel a little bit uncomfortable. And I feel a bit bad. Hey, Kei-chan, that's sexist. Hearing the word sexist was cause for introspection. What was I prejudiced against Mion and Shion for? Mion was Mion. She was the best friend a guy could have, no reservations, and head and shoulders above me when it came to club activities. If I had met her 5 years earlier, my life would probably have been a lot more fun. Of this, I had no doubt. Well then what about Shion? She was Mion's little sister, and it hadn't even been 3 days since we met. Her relationship was much more distant, as the only thread we had in common was that I knew her sister. And for Shion it was the same. I was someone she met 3 days ago, only because I was a friend of her sister's. The difference between Mion and Shion? Friendliness? Familiarity? Playing around with those unclear thoughts for a while, I had stopped listening to Shion. Hypothetically, okay, are you listening? Sorry, yeah, I'm listening. This is just a hypothetical question, okay? Both me and my sister are in trouble, okay? We're dangling off the side of a cliff. Which one of us do you save? Right. Okay. It's at this point... Like I say, I'm still not 100% sure what Shion... what her sort of... what she is. In terms of, you know, a different person, a different personality. But... it's getting to a point where I can't help but wonder if she's trying to turn us against Mion a bit. It's getting weird. It's getting weird. I don't like this line of questioning at all. And I don't envy Keiichi for having to answer. You can only save one. She wasn't saying it to tease me, but had a playful tone behind her voice. That's not a nice question. I want to save you both, but I can't do that, right? Right. You can only save either Shion or Mion. Who do you want to save? If it were Mion, I don't think she'd be in that situation in the first place, as it's something she could easily get herself out of. But what about the normal, frail Shion? I guess I'd have no choice. It's not my sister, right? If Mion and Shion were different people, I suppose it would come to that. I couldn't confirm nor deny it. She should have been smiling, but her gaze was locked firmly to mine. In other words, that's it, isn't it? My sister is... Huh? Sorry, I messed up what I was trying to say. Shion was trying to talk in a light-hearted manner, but I felt that there was something more behind her words. Oh, I wish we hadn't... Look, I mean, basic decency is like, yeah, I'll try and help you out, but I'm starting to regret having made a binding promise to save her. She's making me uncomfortable. Was Mion trying to tell me something through Shion? Not being able to put a finger on exactly what it was vexing. Shion, to hide her embarrassment, turned the conversation around. More importantly, just now, were you surprised? When everybody kept on showing up? Of course I was. If it were Rina or Satoko, that would have been one thing. But for all those people, young and old, to gather... They were all from Hinamizawa, right? I mean, Mion has a talent for bringing people of all different types together. That's why we've got our club. But... Yeah, that's right. Everybody in Hinamizawa is pretty close-knit. An enemy of one is the enemy of all. Nobody is going to look on from the sidelines. They're a pretty reliable group of residents. If somebody is being picked on, then everybody unites to get rid of the bully. Hold on a minute. Shion, apparently, lives in this town, right? Outside of Hinamizawa. Right? Am I remembering that right? She doesn't live in Hinamizawa. So... Even so, though, she was still able to rally people together, so now I'm wondering, is it a Hinamizawa thing, or is it a Sonozaki thing? I don't know, it's weird. We're officially at the point now in Chapter 2, where enough things have come together that I'm starting to get the weird, uneasy feeling that there's something weird going on. Again. There's something weird going on. There's something so weird going. Okay. Alright, anxiety's coming back. Okay, we're in the good shit again. Sorry, Higurashi, Chapter 2. This is what I've been waiting for, I'm sorry. If somebody is being picked on, then everybody unites to get rid of the bully. It kind of sounds like the Mafia or the Yakuza's brand of unity. That's what I was saying, it felt like I befriended the Mafia daughter. You shouldn't say something like that. It's something you should be thankful for. You were saved by that unity, weren't you? Never forget to show your appreciation. That sounds like the Mafia. I half-heartedly agreed. I knew full well that I should be appreciative. Everybody really is close-knit, aren't they? Maybe it's because of tradition? Hinamizawa has been in danger of becoming a ghost town on several occasions. There's been a history of the villages uniting together each time to fight for the village's continued existence. Oh shit, we're hearing about this now. For example, Kei-chan, did you know about the Hinamizawa Dam project? Oh fucking hell. Oh shit. Shit. Okay. Hinamizawa Dam project? Let's see. I feel like I've heard somebody talk about it before. About 10 years ago, there was a sudden proposal to build a dam here which would have submerged Hinamizawa underwater. Oh, that story. I think I heard my dad talk about that. But I'm pretty sure that plan was cancelled, right? We made them cancel it. Everybody banded together. So that was a well-earned victory. That sounded pretty much like the story I heard. The protest intensified to the point where it was featured in newspapers and magazines. As a result, the plan was suspended. We're going to hear about the other stuff, or are we not going to hear about that? The whole story with the dam apparently started before I was born. At first, the proposal was only for exploratory purposes, or a small dam to control erosion. But then, the cat was let out of the bag. If it were completed, it would have been the biggest dam in Japan. Not just Hinamizawa, but several villages upstream would have been submerged as well. The protests immediately began. Petitions to cancel or relocate the project were drafted and submitted to the Diet. This song, I love this song, I love this song. They even went so far as to go to the Ministry of Construction in Tokyo to hand over a direct appeal to the minister. The previous landowner sued the government, stating there were inconsistencies in the purchase agreement and the transaction should be nullified. Owners of yet unacquired land split their properties, increasing the number of landowners in order to stifle the project. It was all very precious when the land acquisition was still about money. Eventually, They started relying on eminent domain in order to seize land. It started at that point. Eminent domain? One moment. Eminent domain. The power of a government to take private property for public use without the owner's consent, provided just compensation is given. The right of a government over the lands within its jurisdiction usually invokes to compel landowners to sell their property in preparation for a major construction project. Shit. The riot police began to get violent. Riot police? You mean the police? Keiichi, what? Why would they act violent? Why would the police act violent? Nah, I'm not going there. I'm not cricking my back to bend over and pick up that apple. That fruit is way too low hanging. They punched. They kicked. There was a time I was hit. Around here, I think. My skin split open and a whole lot of blood spilled out. Saying that, Shion indicated her temple by poking at it. What happened to the police? Filing a complaint against the riot police for police brutality would seem kind of strange for some reason. Naturally, they wouldn't pay heed to something like that. You wouldn't be able to establish proof on who exactly hit you, and they could justify their actions by saying you were interfering with police duties. My nana went off like a firework. After that, it was amazing. Like a full-scale war. That's not amazing. I mean, look, fuck the police, but I don't want to celebrate a war. Hey, way back in chapter 1, right at the beginning, Mion mentioned that the school had been dilapidated after the war. I had kind of assumed that she was talking about, like, hypothetically, just as an example, World War II, or something like that, but did she mean this conflict? Holy shit. That is wild if so. We weren't just going to sit by and idly file complaints. We went on the offensive. First, in order to call attention to the government, they filed a temporary injunction in court. Then, in order to gain public support, they called in prominent scientists to state that Hinamizawa was a valuable nature preserve. They pressured the prefectural and municipal assemblies, saying that the prefectural governor ignored his constituents when he approved the project and demanded his resignation. They completely and thoroughly denounced him. Naturally, in Hinamizawa, ferocious conflict worthy of being called the Dam War began. In order to suppress the police's brutality, they coordinated with the network channels and exposed the violence of the riot squad members to the public. On top of that, they put together a special expose themed around the government repressing the citizens and aired it nationally. It worked wonders. Following that, the SWAT teams had their hands cuffed. Day after day, the petitions and demonstrations continued. Propaganda was used to help garner support. The circle of support gradually expanded outwards from Hinamizawa. Either that bore fruit, or the government finally decided against it. It was announced that the dam project was indefinitely suspended just a few years ago. We did everything we could. The entire village banded together and fought. It must have taken a lot for a few people to still support the dam in the midst of this war. Like, Satoko's parents supposedly supported the dam. How did they go on supporting? I mean, I can understand having the minority opinion, but how could they go on supporting it, like, and not fear for their lives? It's like going into the trenches and flying the flag of the enemy. It's a miracle that they didn't die during that, if anything. At the time, we were desperate, but now that it's over, it actually became a pretty good memory. The village's feelings of solidarity and unity still haven't faded. Shion said that as she focused off into the distance. I've said it before, they're ride or die at this village, and I don't think I realised how accurate I was at the time. I felt that those eyes weren't filled with anguish, but rather a sense of pride. That kind of solidarity is pretty nice. You don't see it too often. Bridging the generation gap and unifying the region. I think so too. The dam project was a trial. I think that just the fact we were able to overcome it is huge. The fear I was feeling until just now gradually began to fade. When people began to show up one after another while I was engaged with those thugs, I thought it was frightening. But now I felt from the bottom of my heart that I had been rude. The villagers, prepared to defend their homeland to the death. The sense of solidarity that fostered. It might seem impudent to say this, but I was a little jealous. If I had been in Hinamizawa when the protest against the dam was going on, I might have been able to share in that sense of solidarity. Kei-chan, you weren't here at the time, so I don't think you can fully feel the solidarity in the village. But everybody shares it. Thoroughly. Even with someone who just moved here like you, Kei-chan. She couldn't have been more right. So many people got together to help me out when I just moved here. Even though they were strangers whose names I didn't even know. Hot feeling began welling up inside of me. When I lived in the city, I didn't even know my own neighbours. I thought that was natural. But here, that was an absurd and pathetic thing. Even though I thought of them as strangers, all the other villagers viewed me as a comrade. This is quite the opposite from the first chapter when we became paranoid that everyone wanted to kill us. If anything, even though in a way I still find this a little bit unnerving, it really does go to show just how paranoid we were probably being. If this is a genuine sort of thought process, then those villagers who Keiichi thought wanted to kill us, that couldn't have been further from the truth. Happiness and warmth. I was acutely aware of those feelings as they gradually welled up inside of me. Sonozaki-san, the manager wants you to work the floor. A more senior waitress waved her hand and called out to Shion. It seemed like it was time for more work. Ah, okay, I'm coming. Sorry. Looks like I have to get to work now. It's fine. Thanks for hanging out with me, it was fun. Oh, are you going home? Yeah, my mum gets fussy if I'm not home by dinner time. It seemed that Shion wanted to say something, but she swallowed her words. Like we hadn't talked enough, that kind of feeling. Looking at that expression, I regretted saying something that had disappointed Mion like that. I was about to... You keep mixing the names up, it's interesting. I was about to say that I could stay for a little bit longer when Shion got up from her seat. Here. If you use the coupon, it should cover the pancakes as well. Saying that, she showed me a coupon booklet as she saw out a few sheets and handed them to me. Convenient, isn't it? It's a perk I get on top of my salary. It's okay, I can pay for the pancakes myself. Hey, being so reserved doesn't fit you, Kei-chan. If I were my sister, you would have gladly let me pay for it, she said as she left, gently stopping me from opening my wallet. Being told so with such an encouraging smile really resounded with me. Sonozaki-san, sorry, could you take care of the register? Ah, yes, right away. Later. Today was fun. Saying that, Shion smiled one more time at me. Oh, Mion. Thanks a lot for today. I owe you one. If you really think that, then return the favor. I'm looking forward to it. After I said it, I realized I mistakenly called her Mion. I didn't know if she realized it or not. Lazing around and watching television after dinner was part of my daily routine. It might seem like a waste at first glance, but you could say it was an important time when I was able to accrue knowledge of everything from politics to economics to various trivia. After dinner was valuable time well spent while the brain was at its most supplied with nutrients. You idiot! It's obvious that Tokyo Tower is taller! Ah! Today I tested my knowledge of trivia by watching my weekly quiz show. Sitting in front of the television, I was able to get a lot of the answers right. But if I were actually up on stage, I'd probably fail miserably. Keiichi, phone call from Sonozaki-san. Okay. Sonozaki? That's Mion. It was a little late for her to be calling. I had a bad feeling about this. I had a hunch it was something to do with club activities. She was probably going to inform me about what we were doing tomorrow. This was Mion we were talking about. Hey, it could be Shion calling. It could be Shion calling. I'm hoping that it will be clear. She might even go so far as to say we're doing club activities right now, so hurry up and come over. By the way, it was 8 PM. Hello? No way we're having a club battle right now. Huh? That's not it. I mean... It was Mion, but it was a very un-Mion-like way of talking. Huh. Could it be? Sorry. Could it be you're not Mion, but Shion? That's right. Good evening. Hey, did we forget our key? That would be so funny if after all of that we forgot our key again. I'm sorry for calling so late. For Mion, this would have been an ill-fittingly polite way of talking. But since it was Shion, it was natural. Even though they were both the same person. With a dry smile, I enjoyed that mysterious feeling. No, it's fine. What's up? Hey-chan, do you like sweets, like cakes or desserts? There was no way I hated them. I'm an unabashed glutton. That's great. Actually, there's a new dessert contest this summer. Looks like they have a new dessert menu every season. So they were hiring taste testers for potential desserts. The desserts at Angel Mart have a good reputation. Pretty difficult to get accepted as a taste tester. I'll get right to the point. Ta-da! You say ta-da, but I can't see over the phone. Still, could it be? That's right! I have a taste testing ticket right here. If you don't mind sweets, how about it? When you say how about it, you basically mean, with that ticket I can eat all the new desserts I want? They say to beware of honey pot, but this is sweeter than any pot of honey. All you could eat free dessert? No way. If you're okay with that, I'll register you as a taste tester. This is too good to be true. We're being bought with desserts. It's way too good to be true. When you come to the restaurant tomorrow, just give the person in charge your name. Then everything will work out. When you say everything will work out, you mean all you can eat? For free? Yeah, it's free. There's quite a bit, so I recommend you come hungry. This was such a delectable opportunity, it was almost scary. This was really Shion, right? It wasn't Mion posing as Shion in order to bait me into a trap, was it? What am I saying? They're the same person. Yeah. I know exactly what you're thinking, Kei-chan. You're thinking this is too good to be true, right? I mean, I would never. I heard from my sister, but you're really somebody who can't tell a lie. I'm not averse to somebody like that. Shion laughed with a voice that sounded a lot like how Mion would laugh. It's not like I was intending on it, but it just so happens that my shift ends early tomorrow. If it's not a bother, I thought maybe we could spend a little time together after I'm done. Your shift ends early tomorrow? Yeah. So while you take your time eating dessert, I'll finish up. Well, I didn't have plans anyway. I don't mind hanging out with you for a bit. It's not like we have to go anywhere. I was thinking we could cool off in the evening while we take a walk. There was no reason for me to refuse. Out of courtesy, I might as well take her up on her offer. By the way, Kei-chan, you and I have been meeting up every day, haven't we? Now that you say it, I guess we have. Since you said okay, we have an excuse to meet again tomorrow. Huh? What was Mion saying? Ah, Kei-chan, your voice is cracked. What's the matter? It wasn't a video phone, but she could tell I was beet red. Well then, you should definitely come tomorrow. I'll take my leave here. Good night. Good night. Shion, finished with what she had called to say, ended the conversation without any chit-chat. When I returned to the living room after hanging up the phone, the TV was already off and my mum was sleeping in the rocking chair. Not feeling like turning the TV back on, I went back upstairs and returned to my room. I've only been receiving favours from Shion, haven't I? She brought me a bento and saved me when I got involved with those thugs. She was supposed to be a different person, so I could thank Mion at school. Come to think of it, she'd probably just say she'll pass it on to her sister. I have to thank Shion directly. Tomorrow I'll have to repay her somehow. This is getting very, very confusing and interesting. Details of the delinquent free. Oh hell yeah, mob mentality kicked in. Love it. Love it. Okay. Yeah, this is getting weird. Why is Shion like... She's really, really, like working us. I don't know. What exactly have we done to deserve it? I'm rather confused. Well, we have a new tip to view anyway. Details of the delinquent free. Okay. The three that got arrested and were hassling us earlier, I guess. Just why are you arresting us? Bullshit! Let her go of me! Kuma-chan, you can let go of their arms now. Here, please sit down. The three people rubbed their arms painfully. Kuma-gai-kun and the others must have been squeezing them pretty tightly. Nah, don't get me wrong. I haven't arrested you or anything. I'm wondering if maybe the play here was Oishi was getting them out of a dangerous situation. Like, what was going to happen to them? Kuma-chan, go get me something cold from the fridge, please. Would you like your barley with foam or without? They plunked down onto the reception sofa and despite not yelling anymore, they still had dangerous expressions. What I'd give to be young again. I'll drink even if you don't, you know. Excuse me for helping myself. Beer is best when you drink it on the job. As he downed the beer with glee, the three people exchanged glances, and finally reached out for their cans. They hadn't stopped being cautious. It was more like they didn't see a reason to refuse. They each opened their cans and began to drink the contents.
Where did you guys come from? You're not from around here.
They looked at each other again, suspicious of whether they should tell him.
You're college students? Friends on a trip? Well, you were probably traveling on bikes or something. Oh, sounds like fun I wish I was having. You don't live close by, do you? Where did you come from? Osaka, perhaps?
What's it matter to you?
No. There's no use trying to intimidate me. You would have all been in a lot of trouble if I'd left you there, right?
They seemed to recall a thrilling event from earlier. Well, they could understand getting surrounded by students or a gang or something amongst those lines. They would never have been surrounded by locals, both young and old, both men and women before. This is all feeding into, like, Luigi's game of understanding what the hell is going on with this town. It was easy to imagine how scared they must have been.
If you were from here, the people of Hinamizawa wouldn't have done anything to you, no matter what you've done wrong. You're all special. Not in the sense of parents that want to get involved in their children's fights. If one person gets bullied, the village will come out in full force. That's not just an idle threat, you know.
They couldn't argue against that. They themselves had been surrounded. They'd seen it with their own eyes. There was no doubt about it.
Around these parts, if the people of Hinamizawa give you a glare like that, you'll simply get demoned away. No one will hear from you again.
Shion. Well, Shion has to be the same physical person as Mion. Right? Because Mion is, Hinamizawa born and raised and lives there. Sure, she goes and works in a nearby town, but Shion apparently lives out of town. They have to be the same person, right? By that logic, they kind of have to be.
You'll suddenly disappear without a trace. Do you all have families that'd get the police to search for you if you went missing? Well, if not, then that's bad. You'll vanish and that'll be the end of it.
Even then, we got there soon enough that nothing happened. If we'd been late, things could have taken a turn for the worse. If they'd been forced into an alleyway, these young men wouldn't be sitting on a couch right now. They might be lying on an autopsy table.
Well, probably not. Anyway, perhaps they'll be a little more cooperative if we found them as corpses. How'd y'all get to Okinomiya? By train? By bike?
Bike.
That's not good. They're still parked there, aren't they? If you go waltzing in to get them back, they might really gang up on you.
How's that? We'll take 'em all.
Calm down. Why are young people these days so quick with the shouting? You don't want any more trouble, right? Tell me the bike license plate numbers. I'll bring them here for you. Kuma-chan, please borrow the loading truck we use for traffic disasters.
Got it. Is fine. We'll get 'em ourselves.
Do you really want to get surrounded again? The police may not be fast enough to save you this time.
It's fine, innit? If we're surrounded, they're gonna get knocked down.
Hey, you three. You're drinking the barley with foam, right? Try turning your engines on. I'll arrest you on the spot for drunk driving.
That's fucking dirty.
Your tax dollars will be put to good use in bringing all your bikes back here. Quit complaining and tell me the goddamn license plate numbers, you pieces of shit.
The three were hesitant to tell him the numbers. They were mumbling something along the lines of not remembering them since they'd just brought the bikes.
Well, that's what I thought. Kuma-chan, go with a truck and bring the bikes back. Get the tough-looking red Yamaha, the one with the broken right tail light, and the white one that has the pack intake stuck to the seat. It's those ones. They belong to you, right?
They didn't answer.
Those must be the right ones.
Oishi-san, the truck is here, so I'll get going.
Yes, please do. Oh wait, Kuma-chan, hold on. One more thing.
What's up?
Look up the numbers. You don't want to bring the wrong ones back.
The three people's faces changed colour. They made themselves very easy to understand.
Let's take it easy here until your bikes get back. There's more beer, you know. We have some snacks, too. Wanna watch TV? There's probably nothing on, though.
Nah, thanks, we're leaving. Don't want to hang here forever. Suddenly, there were 5 or 6 huge officers surrounding them. Their clearly overpowering stares nailed them to the sofa. Wait, what? What do we do?
Going on a trip by stealing motorbikes, huh? Students these days have too much time on their hands.
Owned. Damn, fucking hell, Oishi turned mean for a moment there. But hey, wow. That's a chapter done. That was a long one. And it's kind of slightly set the scene for... Oh, I'm so concerned about a lot of things already. Unlike in chapter 1, I don't think I'll miss the fucking club activities when things really go to shit, because a lot of them have been depraved, but maybe I will. I don't want to speak too soon. Things might get so bad that I miss them regardless.